So we'll start with our legs up the wall. So just the familiarity is getting up the wall. It's sitting to the side where your buttocks is right to the wall. And then placing your forearms down and just windshield wiping, windshield wiping your legs up to vertical. Up to vertical. And your arms out to the side. Now if you want and you have a blanket, sometimes it's nice having a blanket, a little blanket underneath the back of your head. Or if you're feeling a little bit too much strain under your hips, you can always place the blanket under the back section, sort of the sacrum part. And then arms out to the side and your eyes softly closed. And so sitting on the wall is a great opportunity to be the awareness of the verticalness of your legs, so as if you were standing tall, and the horizontalness of your spine. And so as we all know, standing, sitting, we lose our lovely posture. So this just allows gravity to be drawing the whole back surface of your shoulder blades, the back of your hips, your sacrum. There'll be a small space through your lumbar part of your spine. And then just allow your feet to be heavy and to settle onto your knees. And then of course the connection of your thigh bone into your hip socket. And then just settling at the start of our practice together. Now with your eyes softly closed, the back of your head onto the mat, we're going to just start the time of stillness. The only noise is your breath. Now with the traveling of the breath, just make sure that the front and the back of your throat is of equal length. So as your in-breath travels smooth and deep, and upon your exhale, sometimes it's lovely just to have a bit of a sigh. And of course, with the settling of the thigh, it allows a more awareness in the sense of the whole back of your ribs, again, onto your mat. I want you to keep your feet flexed. And then just settle. A lovely either start of the day, or sometimes it's lovely at the end of the day when you're spending time hiking, walking, pedaling, just to have that weightlessness. So lay in stillness. The only sound is your breath. With your completeness of your next exhale, I want it to be a big sigh. Allow yourself to release every last drop of your breath. As you're ready, I want you to draw your right knee into your chest. So just give yourselves a little hug. Your hands can be over your shin or the back of your thigh. But as you're drawing it towards your chest, I want you to take your opposite hand and press your leg. So your left hand pressing your left leg to the wall, and yet your right arm drawing it to your chest. Just ensure that you have that equal lengthening. And then change sides. So the growing in the verticalness of your right leg, drawing your left knee in, not a squeeze, more just magnet drawing the two in the same direction. Right hand, press your left thigh away, or your right thigh away. So you've got that back surface of your leg onto your mat. And then take your leg back up to vertical. So as before, draw your right knee into your chest, and we're going to go into thread the needle. So take the sole of your right foot onto either your calf, maybe even towards your inner knee since there's no weight, or perhaps to your upper thigh. Whichever variation, your right knee with your right hand, move it towards the wall. So often in tree pose, we have a little bit of collapsing into the front of the body. So as your hand is directing your bent right knee towards the wall, just make sure that your left hip doesn't lift up. So I want you to keep both sides of your torso equal length. So you place your left hand onto your left upper thigh hand. So you're pressing them both away, not with force, more encouragement. The first of our thread the needle. And then let's change sides. So draw your right knee in and place your right leg up the wall and draw your left knee in. And we'll just change sides. So your bent left knee out towards the wall and the sole of your left foot, either into your inner calf, inner knee, inner thigh. Both hands directing both legs towards the wall. Initial opening of the hip. Yeah, have a complete full breath in. See if you can breathe into the tight spot. And a lovely sigh on your exhale. And then with your left hand, draw your left knee in and draw both of your knees into your chest. So give yourselves a lovely hug. Your hands can be over your shins or the back of your thighs. And then stay laying flat. We're going to go into butterfly, Buddha Konasana. So take the soles of your feet together, your knees apart, and both of your hands directing of your knees towards the wall. So just ensure that the soles of your feet stay completely connected to the center of your heel, the balls of your feet, all 10 of your toes, right to left connected. Maybe a little bit of hollowing of your belly. Just make sure that your spine hasn't puffed up, it's staying grounded. Make sure your buttocks are relaxed. Then we're going to take it a step farther. So with your hands, draw your knees into center. Straighten your legs up the wall. And keeping the back of your legs towards the wall, open your legs in towards a V. So have a little peek at your legs towards the wall. Sometimes what happens in the opening, one side, one leg will be lifted higher than the other. So I want it to be that perfect balance. The back of your heels, the back of your thighs, the back of your calves, and your hands, your little paws, pressing your thighs towards the wall. And not only are your hands directing your thighs towards the wall, maybe a little bit of support of your outer thighs if you're feeling a little bit too much strain with the opening. Keep your feet flexed. And a few lovely breaths in. And the completeness of a sigh on your exhale. Hands onto your outer thighs. I want you to steer your legs back to vertical. Knees in towards your chest. And then roll over onto your right side. Press your left hand down to bring yourselves into sitting upright. Now in sitting upright, I want you to sit with your back right to the wall. And so we're holding that same alignment of the spine as we did when we were lying down. We had that, I don't want to say straight line, there's that natural curving of your spine, but you encourage that movement. So even drawing your little buttocks and tuck them back, and then that back surface of your shoulder blades down and your hands onto your thighs. And so see if you can keep the center of your skull. And just checking you have that equal length of both sides of your neck, and then just close your eyes. So as your legs are flattened to the mat, your spine is vertical onto the wall. And just the awareness of posture. Now take your left fingertips to the left side of your head. And with the assistance of your hands, draw your left ear to your left shoulder. Now keeping the hand there, just make sure that your chin isn't tucked in or lifted up. And so you have that alignment. Place your left hand down onto the mat. And take your right fingers and draw your right shoulder down. This just allows that horizontalness of your collarbone. And so it's just that isolated movement on the seam on the right side of your neck. And a few breaths. And then your left fingers back onto your head and directing your head back up to vertical. And place your hand down. And we'll just change sides. So this time your right fingertips onto the side of your head and then sliding. So the back of your head is just sliding along the wall. Make sure your chin hasn't dropped. Then place your right fingertips down, left fingertips onto your shoulder, and draw down. So almost imagine that you have a leveling bar for your shoulders, and then pressing down. So your fingertips are pressing down to root you. Your spine is lifting. Both fingertips onto the mat. So just make sure that your right shoulder hasn't dropped, nor is your left. So make sure your shoulders, one hasn't picked higher than the other. Even activating your core, a little bit of your belly button to your spine to activate that structure and strength. Even though you've got the wall there, you still have to have the strength to keep the alignment and that same strength that you use to be sitting tall. And then place your right fingertips onto the side of your head. And press your head back up to vertical. Shake, shake. So I'm going to get you to take yourselves into child's pose. So when I'm into child's pose, I'm going to be going to an imaginary wall so that you can understand the back of my mat is going to be my wall. So I want you to have your toes together, knees apart, your feet on the wall. I do it sideways just so you know what I'm saying. And have your two firm blocks by your side. So your toes just gently touch the wall. Your head to there's lots of options. Your head can be towards your mat, can be onto a firm block, sometimes one fist on top of the other. Now with the position of your head to the mat, tops of your feet to the floor, there'll be a very soft rounding of your back. And then see if you direct your breath into those intercostal muscles. Those muscles that we use for standing tall, for walking, for moving. This just allows that passiveness. Make sure your shoulders haven't tightened. I'll get you to press your hands down and bring yourselves into table pose. We're into table pose for the cat and the cow. So your fingers, as usual, flared out. Knees, I always like to peek between the knees to make sure I can't see my feet. So if you see your feet, you haven't taken that alignment. And we're just going to do a very gentle warming up with the spine of the cat and the cow. So as you know, with the cow, it's the dropping of the front of your body and the rounding of your back, or the inner arch of the back. And then on your exhale, your chest bone towards your spine, but allow your head just to hang, almost like your tailbone scoops under. And so just the familiarity of the cat and cow, eyes closed. We're taking ourselves from stillness of the spine, starting laying onto the floor. Hopefully your floor is flat. And then sitting tall, each one of your vertebrae, one stacked on top of the other, with the back of your head to the wall. It allows more awareness of strength and alignment. Now at the end of your next exhale, and just take yourselves back to the neutralness of table pose. From here, we're going to go into a downward facing dog. So in downward facing dog, take your toes just a little farther forward away from the wall and tuck your toes under. And then we're going to start with sitting bones back towards your heels and a little step forward with your hands. So ensuring that you've got that lovely straightness of your arms. And again, look towards your knees. And then lift yourselves up and back into downward facing dog. Now in downward facing dog, your heels are going to touch the wall, but only at about a 30-degree angle. So I don't want your heels right to the ground, and I don't want your heels stacked around the balls of your feet. It's just that lovely angle. And then even doing so, keeping the connection of your heels to the wall, will be a little bit of picking up. Is bend opposite knees. And then it's always the importance of looking forward to the front of your mat to ensure you have all four sides of your palms rooted. And then your head to hand. Now moving from here, I want you to take your feet a little farther apart and your feet a little farther forward. So I'm going to generously bend your knees and then walk your hands back towards your feet and hang down. So your legs are going to be at that angle. So opposed to verticalness, I just want your buttocks to the wall and yet that space and your head to hang. You can actually hold on to opposite elbows, or you can place your forearms onto your thighs. Just sort of like leaning against the counter. Opposed to standing vertical, you've got that tilt back. Whichever variation that you choose. Give your head a little shake, shake side to side. Place your hands onto your thighs. Now press your thighs back and just lift up halfway. And then as you lift up halfway, tilt yourselves forward so that your legs are vertical. And then melt down. Now again, gently bend your knees, but I want you to sweep your arms out to the side and bring yourselves right up into standing tall. You even lift your fingers to the sky, palms together. Down to heart center, eventually with your hands just hanging by your side. And I want you to go into reverse so that the whole back of your body is towards the mat. Now your buttocks will touch the mat, your shoulder blades. There might be a little bit of space behind your lower back. And then turning of your palms forward, eyes closed, standing in Tadasana. So there's two lovely things, well, there's many lovely things about the wall behind. The connection of your buttocks gives you the awareness of stillness. And at the same time, the verticalness. As all four sides of your feet are rooted, your legs are lifting, your torso is rising, right to the crown of your head. Place your right fingertips onto your shoulder. Then I want you to tilt over towards the left. Now keep your buttocks against the wall, and then eventually extending of your arm for this curve. Now your thumb won't be right towards the wall. There'll be a little bit of space. This gives the balance. And then let's change sides. So starting with your fingertips, your left fingertips to your shoulder. Down, lengthening, and then extending. So still keep your legs activated. So opposed to collapsing the movement of the body, it's that lifting, lengthening, and leaning. And then come back to center. And I want you to take a little step forward. And take yourselves back into mountain pose, Tadasana. So imagine the wall is behind you. Well, it is, but imagine that you're touching the wall. It's giving you that balance. It's almost that the memory and the familiarity of the stillness of the wall to bring the stillness through your body and stillness of your mind. Breath in and breath out. And I'll get you to softly open your eyes. So we're going to use the wall. I want you to turn to face your wall. I'm going to face my side wall. And I want your toes to be about 3 inches away from the wall. We're going to go into warrior one. So you'll be taking your opposite foot back, ensuring that your heel is grounded. Now your front knee is bent. So your knee won't be touching the wall because you have that distance with your foot, but your fingertips onto the wall. So with your fingertips onto the wall, it gives you an opportunity for a little bit of balance. And press your fingers a little bit more towards the wall to bring yourselves more to the verticalness of your spine. And then your palms together into heart center. So the wall is still, your gaze is there, it holds that. Always that lifting through your torso. Back leg is strong and long. Now at any time, if the balance is a little bit off, you can always place your fingertips back onto the wall. So just sort of find the variation that allows you to hold yourselves into warrior one, Virabhadrasana one, holding with alignment and still strength. And then maybe close your eyes. It's one of those things, knowing the wall is there, your body feels it, and it can allow assistance with balance. Now place your fingertips back onto your wall and straighten your front leg. So we're going to be folding forward into pyramid pose. Now into this pose, you're going to be walking down. If you're quite flexible, you can take your front foot a little farther back. Both legs are straight, and I want you to walk your hands down the wall. So you might reach a point that that's plenty, keeping both of your hands on the wall to give yourselves balance. If you can go a little bit farther down, maybe take yourself to your firm blocks, or you can have your palms just lower down, or maybe your hands down to your mat. Find that position. So the extension and lengthening of your front hamstring, but the importance of ensuring your back heel stays rooted down. Again, whichever variation. And then breathe. So always just the alignments. It's always ensuring that the top of your front leg hip is drawn back. So sometimes even using your thumb to tuck your front hip back, or your front leg's hip back, and then lowering yourselves down to whichever height. And so the support of the wall hopefully maybe gives it a little bit more assistance with the balance to allow more easing and releasing of the tightness of the muscles through the back of your leg. Not just your front hamstring, but also your back heel, your back inner calf. Yeah, when it's the use of the wall, maybe even your head is towards the wall. Just sort of find that spot. And then, if not already, hands onto the wall. Keeping your hands onto the wall, bring yourselves into standing upright and step your back foot forward. And then because we already have the measurement and the alignment of the feet, I'm just going to get you to step your opposite leg back. So you have that alignment, your back heel to your front heel, fingers onto the wall, keeping your fingertips connected to the wall. Press them down a little bit, away a little bit to allow the assistance of your posture. And then, as you know, lots of options. You can keep your fingertips onto the wall. Perhaps maybe lifting of your arms up to the sky. Sort of find that variation. You can always have your palms together at heart center. You'll have your gaze to the wall for the stillness and balance. And then with the touching of your fingers, lifting or palms together. And then breathe. And explore with perhaps the closing of your eyes. I want you to be growing from your belly button up to your heart, right to the crown of your head, and yet the rooting and the grounding of your back heel. Now there's a bending of your front knee, so your thigh is activated. And then we'll change. So place your fingertips back onto the wall, straighten your front leg, and then just choose the distance of your feet from the wall. I want you to slowly walk down. Just to a place that starts to tug a little bit and then go no further. Just breathe. And then maybe lower yourself farther down or not. And in doing so, you might need to step, if you can go down quite far, you might want to take your front foot forward, a little bit back. And then, distance of your thumb, tuck your hip, so your leg that's in the front, take your thumb and tuck that hip back. And lower yourselves down. Give your head a little shake. Using the assistance of the wall or the awareness. And even though you're just that very noticeable growing and lengthening of the front hamstring, I want you to still keep your back heel rooted, head heavy. Sense as you have a strap and it's drawing your hips back, but the crown of your head is forward and down to give that complete opening. And a great stretch to do after a good bike ride or a hike. So it's that nice of the assistance and the releasing. So come up halfway with your palms to the wall, and I want you to step your front foot back. So you're going to take yourselves into that L shape again. Your legs will be vertical, your body horizontal, your palms pressing the wall away. It's holding that alignment. So as we had our hands on our thighs when we were lying, so direct your thighs back, put your hands forward. So you still have that verticalness of your legs. And then staying as you are, go for a little bit of a walk. Just putting that movement at the tops of your thigh bones into your hip socket. And then I'll get you to take a step forward. So you can bring yourselves back into standing upright and turn so the back of your head is towards the mat or towards the wall, just as we had before. And close your eyes back into mountain pose. And just do a scanning of your body from the soles of your feet, the strength of the muscles on the back of the legs, movement of your breath, but stillness of your body. And gently open your eyes. We're going to take ourselves from Warrior 1 to Warrior 3. So I want you to turn to face your wall and place your palms on the wall. Okay. As you press the wall away, walk back. So we're going right into that L shape again, just where we come from. Vertical of the leg, vertical of the legs, horizontal of the spine. And then what I want you to do is I want you to slowly lift your left leg up so that it's horizontal. So I still have a little bit of bending of your standing right leg. Left leg is back, firm into Warrior 3. Your palms connected to the wall for the balance. Now with your lifted leg, I want you to ensure that your toes are pointed down to keep your hips square. Front of your body to the back of your body, and the strength through the core. And then let's just change sides. So lower your leg down, and as all four sides of your foot are rooted, lift your opposite leg up to horizontal. It's called Virabhadrasana 2. So the strength and the energy through not just your standing leg, but your horizontal leg. You can have your gaze down, just allow that lengthening through all four sides of your neck. Remember to breathe. Big breath in. And on your exhale, lower your leg down. I want you to fold forward with your forearms onto your thighs and your head to hang. Just giving it a little supported release throughout the length of your spine. Hands on towards your thighs and press yourselves into standing upright and turn around to go into reverse, just as you had before. Give your body a little shake, shake. So we're going to go into tree pose. So I want just your buttocks towards the wall. Okay, so you're still standing tall, but not pressing your whole body there. So our buttocks to the wall is a little bit of a balance. And then take your arms out to the side with your fingertips down. And go onto your left tippy toe. And pivot it open. And then place the sole of your foot into your inner calf. Now in doing so, take your left hand and press it back to give you that opening. Now just ensuring that your hips don't tilt. So it won't be flat to the wall, but giving it a little bit of that opening. And then bring your palms together at heart center. So finding a focal spot, directing of your foot in towards your inner calf, two together so they give the stability, the balance of our first tree pose. And then place your hand onto your knee and draw it into center and lower down. And wherever your foot lands, keep it there and go onto your right tippy toes and arms out. So it's the initial balance. Then pivot your knee to the side, calf onto your inner thighs. This time your right hand smoothing out your right hip flexor to give it that length. Palms out for squaring, and then see if you can bring your palms together. Make sure your chin hasn't dropped down. So you're holding that horizontalness of your jawbone for a tree pose. Finding a focal spot down and forward. And the stillness of that allows your body to follow the stillness. And place your hand out and draw your knee to center. Give your legs a little shake, shake. So we're going to go into tree pose again, and we're going to explore, maybe we can go a little bit higher. So fingertips out and onto your left tippy toe. Open to the side. So a couple of options. You take the sole of your foot onto your inner calf. Maybe with the assistance of your hand, sole of your foot into your inner thigh. So just sort of find the height that gives that opening. Yeah, you guys can both lift up. There you go. And then as before, your hand, I want you to just sweep your hip flexor away to keep that stillness. And then bring your palms together at heart center. So the wall is holding you there. And you'll feel a little bit of tickling or toppling. I want that direction of the sole of your foot into your upper thigh. And then look directly forward, taking yourselves back to that horizontalness of your jawbone. In tree pose. So if your foot can't stay up and it's towards your knee, then just take it down to your calf. Just sort of find that position. And then we're going to come out. Foot down, little shake, shake. And change sides. So again, just the back surface of your buttocks to the wall, not trying to flatten yourself, just a little bit for the balance. Fingers out, right tippy toes, open your knee to the right. And then the sole of your foot to your inner calf, or with the assistance of your hand, maybe your upper thigh. Just ensure that your heel is either below your knee or your toes are above. As you all know, our knees don't bend sideways. I want to hold that alignment. So whichever variation. So it's that magnet, drawing the two together. Hand onto the wall. And then palms together at heart center. Again, whichever variation you choose. So your standing leg is strong, but at the same time, your bent leg is powered up. Into tree pose. So if you're lifting of your leg up, use your hand to direct it. I'm keeping it down. And then take your hands down and draw your knee in and give yourself a little shake, shake. So we're going to do a thigh stretch that we don't do a whole lot, and you're going to need your wall. So I want you to also have a blanket or something to cushion. Okay, so I'm going to do it sideways so you can see what I'm saying. You want to have your firm blocks in front of you. We're going to do a really deep thigh stretch. So what I want you to do is take one knee back and have your foot either, I'm going to say just touching the wall. So not completely straight, but a little bit of the angle with your hands on the firm block. You're kneeling on your opposite knee. Now from this pose, you have a couple of options. You've got the wall holding, let everyone get into position. So you need to have this cushioning underneath your knee. With this pose, it's that opening of your hip flexor and your thigh. If this is plenty, you can stay like this, or press your hands down and take your opposite foot forward. So you've got that 90-degree angle. And then actually, let's just all start torso towards the thigh and just feel the initial opening through the hip flexor. And then with your hands on the firm blocks, actually your knuckles onto the firm block, press down to bring yourselves up. And feeling of that thigh opening. And breathe. This is quite deep. If it's quite open, you can take yourselves closer to the wall so that your shin is completely vertical, or not. It's quite deep. But having your fingers pressing down, your chest lifting up, and your thigh bones, hip flexor loosening. So that magnet that used to hold us to the mat, I want you to take the magnet away. So you've got that space, if you're peeling your torso away from your thigh. And breathe. Full breath in. And complete breath out. Okay, it's deep. Let's come out. So just place your hands down. And I want you to just walk your feet forward to the side so you can take your knee off the wall and just give yourselves a little shake, shake. Give those thighs a little bit of a break. You can actually even your hand onto your thigh that we just stretched, a little massage, because it is quite deep. And then we'll just prepare ourselves to do the other side. So again, feet to the wall, have your opposite knee, or knee onto the mat, your opposite foot to the wall. Have your firm blocks on its vertical. And then slowly stepping your opposite foot forward. So when your other foot is forward, I want your torso to be resting onto your thigh. Just to get that initial smoothing out of your hip flexor. Getting everything into place. Now, if this is, I should have said this before, if you are just not happy doing this, you can lie onto your side and draw your heel towards your buttocks. So if this is uncomfortable with the wall, just lie on your side without your knee in. So you'll be away from your wall if you're not doing this pose. And then press your fingertips down to lift yourselves up and feel your hip flexor opening. So it's taking the back of your hips forward, and then the front of your body is lifting up. Deep and enjoy. And so choosing the distance from the wall, the verticalness of your shin, the releasing through your hip flexor. Even in doing this, just to ensure posture, is take your shoulder blades a little closer together. So it gives more of a broadening across your chest. And then the broadening and the opening across your chest feeds down to the squaring of your hips and the stretching of your opposite thigh bone. I want you to have 3 more lovely in-breaths with out-breaths. Remember, slow. Even though this is deep, allow your breaths to be slow. And it's always nice even to have a little bit of a sigh upon the exhale. And then the end of your third exhale. The knee that is towards the wall, walk your firm blocks over that way to bring yourselves down. So your knees are down, and just shake your hips side to side. And actually, I'm going to get you to walk a little farther forward so you can take your extended legs back and just give them a little shake out. And then I'm going to get you to go just as we did at the start. I'm going to get you to lie down with your legs up the wall. So again, having your blanket, if you choose to have it, behind the back of your head. Hips to the wall. Legs windshield up. And take yourselves right back to the start of the class. Now, with your legs up the wall, your hands, I want you to massage your thighs. Notice where we have stretched it out. You now get the massaging, the patting. Just ensure that your feet are flexed and directing the back of your legs to the wall. Just our first alignment. Even it's nice sometimes your hands just slide up and down your thigh. Now, keep your legs up the wall. I want to do a little bit of a shuffle. I want you to take your sitting bones a little farther away. I always call it little worm modes. So just sliding. Your heels will stay in the wall, but there'll be that space between the back of your legs to the wall. And we're going to go into thread the needle. So take your right ankle and place it above your left knee. Arms out to the side. So this is completely passive thread the needle. And I want you to slide your left heel down to bring yourselves into thread the needle. Now this is where an adjustment. If you're quite open, I'm going to say choose the distance of your sitting bones. If this is quite tight, then just slide a little bit farther away. I want you to bring yourselves into this position that your shin is horizontal and the wall is holding you into this pose. Even sometimes your right hand directing your right knee away. And then just enjoy. Thread the needle, almost as if you were sitting on the wall. Always a little bit of adjustment. First time travel into this pose. And as I said, if you take yourselves to where there's a resistance, go no further. But then if it loosens up a little bit, you can also do a little bit of a worm closer towards the wall. And then take yourselves back. A great blending together as we were stretching of our thigh muscles. And then into this position, it allows the opening through the back. Even I'm going to say more towards your buttocks with the opening. And your breath. Breath is full. You do this pose sometimes laying on the mat with the use of your hands, sometimes sitting into a chair or in towards the wall. This thread the needle is a lovely pose to give the depth of the opening, but the importance of the length of your spine, allowing the front and the back of your spine to be of equal length. Okay, let's unwind. Placing of your feet on the wall, knees bent, and do a little bit of the windshield wiping. And then we're going to change sides. So your legs at the wall, but with the angle. And this time, left knee above your left ankle onto your left knee, and then slowly sliding your right foot down. And again, making the position, the distance of your body from the wall. Take yourselves to a position that your shin is horizontal. You can always use your left hand just to encourage your left knee away. And then your arms just limp by your side. So using the assistance of the floor and the wall for the opening of your hip. A few lovely sighs, but staying as you are. Always that sigh allows the release of the tightness. So even though this is a great stretch, sometimes into the stretch, you sometimes tighten up all around. So I want this pose to be of complete passiveness as the wall is holding you there. But enjoying your sighs, the releasing of the tightness. And then I'll get you to come out, knees bent, feet to the side, a little bit of windshield wiping. And then I want you to walk away so that your feet are towards the wall, but I want you to be laying long. So the soles of your feet are onto the wall. You're taking yourselves into a position as if we're into Shavasana. So your feet are onto the wall. I'm going sideways and then laying down. So just as we had started at the beginning of the class when we were standing in mountain pose, we had that alignment. So I want you to have that same alignment. Lying flat. And then just ensure that the back of your skull is on the mat. So I open my eyes just to ensure that I'm looking directly up to the sky. But keep your feet to the wall. Draw your right knee now in towards your chest, but I want you to just have it at a 90-degree angle. Stay standing on the wall with your left leg, but open your bent knee towards the right. Now, as you know, you can either have a firm block there, or you can use your fist tucked under your right hip. But just make sure you're still standing tall to hold on to the balance. And then let's change sides. So with the assistance of your hand, draw your knee in and lower down. So again, the soles of your feet are on the wall. You're laying long as if you were standing tall. And then draw your left knee in. So you've got that 90-degree angle, moving the support, block or blanket, open your knee towards the left, but stay standing on the wall. This just ensures the assistance of keeping your hips square and the alignment of your body. And opening. Just make sure as you're opening your knee towards the left, make sure that your right shoulder hasn't lifted up. So that's why the assistance really allows the freedom of the opening, but without the strain. Even though we're standing on the wall with the right leg, make sure the legs aren't gripped. Sort of as if you're standing in the weightlessness of your body. Now with the assistance of your hand, draw your knee in and take both of your knees to your chest. A little bit of rocking side to side. And then take yourselves back into standing. Well, stay laying with your legs are flat, your feet to the wall. So just as we had started 2 poses ago, we're going to take it to a little bit of a twist. So draw your right knee into your chest. Now take your right arm out to the right, and I want you to cross your right knee over your left. So you're giving yourselves a twist. Your left foot is still against the wall, but on an angle. So you'll have the outer edges of your foot on the outer edges or onto the wall, the floor. Let's see if I can get this. So you're twisted towards the right, ensuring that your left outer edges of your foot is right down onto your mat. So you're not holding that verticalness. And then your hand or a block can give you the assistance. Now as we're twisting over towards the left, make sure your right shoulder doesn't lift up. So that's why it's nice having sometimes a little bit more support for this body twist. And so even though the deep twisting of the spine, but don't allow it to restrict your breath. Still have the completeness of breath in and emptiness of breath out. And then let's unwind. So the assistance of your hands to bring yourselves up. Place your hands bent, or hands into your bent knees, and just go for a little bit of a walk. So moving your hips. This is, again, quite a deep one, so we need to have the juice back into those joints through the hips. And then we'll change sides. So this time, just lower your right leg down, your foot to the wall, the left knee into your chest, and then drawing your left knee across with a twist. Remember, the outer edges of your right foot is right down onto the mat. And then whichever assistance of props. The importance of ensuring that your left shoulder stays down, breath stays full. So the sole of your foot is still on the wall, but it's tilted to the side. And then just see, even with a few full in-breaths or out-breath, there can be almost a little bit of a popping of the releasing of that tightness. Just make sure that there's no strain. So giving yourselves the body twist to a point that there's the opening, but not feeling more strain. I want to be completely relaxed, aligned, but relaxed. I want you to have one more full, complete breath in. So imagine breathing, as I say, into every cell of your body, almost a little bit more of expansion, nurturing to the muscles, and a complete deep sigh on your exhale. And just feel any tightness that you weren't aware of. Sometimes the completing of the exhale allows the muscles to release because you're aware that they have been tight. And then the assistance of your hands, bring yourselves back to center and have your knees bent, your feet on the outer edge of your mat, and then just a little bit of windshield wiping, a little bit of releasing. And then we're going to get ourselves for Shavasana. Now there's a couple of options on Shavasana. You can stay laying down onto your mat, but I don't want your feet touching the wall. If it felt complete, you can have Shavasana with your legs up the wall. So depending on which feels right, either your legs, readjusting yourselves up the wall, or just laying flat onto your mat. You can have a blanket either the back of your head or draped over the front of your body. And at the same, so it's a release at the end of our exhale, but it's also checking how the body feels. If there's a place that feels a little bit of strain, sometimes a little bit of movement, perhaps through your ankles, a little bit of swaying of your hips, the adjustment of your neck, all this little assessment, alignment, release, and then a sense almost as sinking into Shavasana, your body. Palms are soft, feet feel weightlessness. Breath is full and complete. Your bones are strong, but allow your muscles to soften by keeping your skin smooth for Shavasana. in the stillness of your body, but also the stillness of your mind, your awareness just within. And with your next in-breath, a little fuller, and your exhale, just a soft sigh out. Allow yourself to stay here in this moment. The slow movements of your toes and your fingers. And then bending of your knees so you can roll over onto your right side. Your head resting onto your arms, knees in towards your chest. So as I say, the sense of freedom along the back of your body, just by directing your breath into the back of your lungs. Give yourselves a space, taking the weight of your body down to the lightness of your body on your side. And then press your hand down to bring yourselves into sitting upright. Now in sitting upright, sit with your legs crossed in a position of comfort. Or sometimes it's more comfort with your legs extended forward. And taking of your hands and drawing your buttocks back. And then hands onto your thighs. So press your thighs down. Bring yourselves back to sitting tall and strong as if there was a wall behind you. And your eyes closed. Slow breath in and complete breath out. And keeping your eyes closed, bring your palms together at heart center. And as you know, it's a spring in the garden and the opening of the ferns. And I found a lovely poem. Fern. Furled. Almost a question mark. Waving in the wind, holding the fetal curve and the safety of the winter's womb. Nothing, not the gentle kiss of the sun, nor the streaming voice calling, can coax the foil to unfold. Only a single moment as it is ready to open to the sky, feeling the sun, breathing the air, freedom and forward. I wish you namaste.